WBZ News 4 continues.
If a child of yours was diagnosed as learning disabled, you can imagine how you would feel. Now imagine being Nancy Lelewer, who was told one of her children would never work, and another was so emotionally disturbed he needed to leave school. Nancy did not accept that, and the story of her family's battle to conquer learning disabilities is written in this book, Something's Not Right. A dyslexic herself, Nancy graduated from Sarah Lawrence College and went on to do research at MIT and Harvard in the field of learning disabilities. Welcome. So nice to have you here. You know, one of the things that we are learning now is that dyslexia can be hereditary, but you certainly didn't know this when you found out that 3 of your 4 children were learning disabled.
Well, I'm also dyslexic, and I think that my parents probably have mild learning disabilities, and the children's father also has a learning disability.
So it's fairly common for it to be in families?
So it definitely runs in families, and there's good evidence that it's hereditary.
But it's very difficult to diagnose. Why is that? Why is it so hard to catch? I know yours wasn't caught till college, is that right?
Well, I knew that there was something wrong with me in the 1st grade when I didn't learn to read, and I really couldn't figure out why I was so good in math. And I was a good athlete, fortunately, so my self-confidence didn't totally disappear. It's difficult because there's no 2 children with learning disability or people with learning disabilities that are identical. So there's no single test. It comes down to a clinical judgment or a team judgment as to if the child has learning disabilities.
It must have been devastating for you emotionally, though, to learn that 3 of your children had real learning issues. How did you deal with that on an emotional level?
Well, it was devastating, as you said. I mean, my son, I was told to institutionalize. He would never be able to learn. He eventually went to college. He has a pilot's license. He's married. And my eldest, I was told, would never go to college. And she went to Cornell.
She just graduated, right?
No, she's just had a child.
A few years ago, right.
Yes, all my children are married, and they all have children. I've had 2 grandchildren within the last 5 weeks.
Well, I know one of the things you did is you started designing your own games and learning apparatuses, I guess. Tell me a little bit about that.
Many of these children are lost in space and lost in time. One of the best examples is that my son kept asking me the same question over and over again. When was a birthday party? And I finally, in exasperation, after telling him so many times, said to him early in the morning, I said, "You're just going to have to believe me. It's on Wednesday. Don't ask me again." And he looked at me and he said, "Well, I don't believe you. Because where is Wednesday? Is it inside or out? Bring me Wednesday and then I'll believe you." And I thought, oh my goodness.
So you devised a calendar to help him with that.
And prior to that, I had developed games to teach children where they are in space. Because if you don't know where you are in space, it's very hard to do a progression, to know where other things are.
I know you have come up with a lot of other progressive ideas. What kind of advice do you have for parents who suspect that their children may have learning disabilities?
If you have a feeling that things are not going well in school, or even before school, if your child just doesn't seem to have the natural instinct for self-preservation or doesn't get any abstracts, if you say, "What color is this?" when they're 5 and they don't know what you're talking about, but yet they know blue, green, yellow if you point to them. Or in school, if they don't start to learn the way you feel they should, get them tested. In public school, by law, schools are required to do a test. And don't settle for just your child's dyslexic or a child has a learning disability. You have to know exactly what the problems are. How does the child learn best? Through what modalities? You know, do they learn best by seeing or feeling or hearing?
And demand more from your public schools as well.
And make sure, because these children can learn. And what's happening today is so many are ending up so alienated and unemployable and in institutions or incarcerated.
Well, your example is certainly heartening. Thank you very much, Nancy, for Something's Not Right. I'm sure a lot of parents will find very much useful information.
Thank you. I just wanted to add that there's an 800 number. The book should be in the bookstores, but it's 1-800-789-7916. It's 1-800-789-7916.
All right, great. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
When we come back, great holiday gift ideas. Stay tuned.